Okay, we have been started with the embedded OS approach also, in which we will develop one OS. We will store the OS in embedded system memory, and what all the activities it should do. Those all things are predefined and loaded in the operating system. Same like Android in our mobile. ATM system has its own separate OS. Like that, every real time embedded system has their separate and dedicated OS. Okay, so as I told, it's a real-time response is an important thing. And since there are multiple activities or multi-programming, definitely we need the OS should be able to do multitasking, scheduling of algorithm, etc. Okay, so now comes in the yesterday class again we have continued with the development languages. So there are three level of languages: high level language, user friendly, okay, machine level, assembly level language, which is an intermediate between high level as well as machine level. The third level is machine level language, which means zeros and ones only. Okay, so it's a very hardware friendly. Which one? Machine level language. High level language is user friendly. Assembly is intermediate. And we have seen how to develop a assembly level language in part A lab programs. Also the second module programs. So those all are called as assembly level programs. Okay, or the instructions. Like this, I took one example and we have explained all the things, whatever is possible from the whatever the knowledge we have gathered from the previous sessions. Okay, so label means name of a loop. I think I have mentioned here loop one, from where some part of a program will executed again and again. That is called as label. Okay, generally what happens, we will write a program in terms of .asm extension and we will compile it. Once we compile it, creates one object file along with our operating system, sorry, original ASM file. We will take help of library file. Library files and object file what we have created, both are linked and loaded, and absolute object file is created. That absolute object file is converted into hex file. So the new word hex file means hexadecimal format of the file. Okay, hexadecimal format. If we open up any hexadecimal format of a file and check any part of a code, it will be like 1A, 2C, 3, yeah, like that. Hexadecimal symbols. If we expand them in terms of binary zeros and ones, then we can understand what that individual instruction is made up of. Okay. So more about this you are going to learn in a part B lab program. Okay, let's remember the steps. So I want to develop one project in which there are two source file. Okay, this file and this file I want to execute together. Then what is the option? So both the files should be compiled. Both file will prepare their separate object file. Okay, and both file may use header file. Either a file may use header file. It is not compulsory that all should use the same header file. As I told in the last class, one file may use a stdio.h, another file may use a conio.h. Like that, they may use a different files. Ultimately, if they are using the corresponding library file is loaded and linked with the object file. If not used, no need to link or load any of the header file. Okay, once the header file and corresponding object files are linked as well as loaded, that results into absolute object files. Okay, so now what you mean by library? I hope you know about this in your C program, stdio.h, whatever the h indicates header file. So why we should use a header files are, it is not easy and efficient to write all the activities of a program every time. If there are some common activities like printing on the monitor, collecting a data from the keyboard, etc., these all activities are called as user interaction. So these all activities internally, internal code is already prepared and stored in some header file, and that is called as stdio.h. Through printf and scanf, we will access the header files. Okay, so those are called as library files. And we have already completed linker and loader. What is the importance of linker and loader? If you don't have linker and loader, separate object files which are created and where we have kept separately the library files, all those will never get linked to each other, and finally all linked files cannot be loaded. So if we do linking and loading properly, then it is possible to prepare a absolute object file. Okay, so if we don't create an absolute object file, it is not possible to create a hex, and further execution is not possible. Hence, it is important to perform linker as well as loader. Okay, so now comes object file to hex file conversion. In this diagram here, you can see object file to hex file conversion. You will get this step in your lab programs part B. Okay, anyway, as a theoretical part, let's understand now. So once an object file is created, the object file bit will be in terms of bits. That means zeros and I mean some notations. Those should be converted into hexadecimal notations, and that hexadecimal notation should be given for the processor. So what processor will do? It will read a hexadecimal file. It will expand it into zeros and ones, and according to the set of zeros and ones, it will execute and give the output. Okay, so that is what the part of hexadecimal conversion. Okay, so next is what are the advantages of assembly level language based approach or development. So what you learned from the part A lab program is, so you will come to know how processor really works. Okay, so should we give processor friendly language or C language? See, if we are a programmer, definitely we think only about our comfort zone. But as we go our comfort zone, it makes processor more burden, means more work or heavy work on processor. To make processor also balanced compared to the user, it is good to use intermediate language like ALL, assembly level language. That's because of that we can expect a more efficient code as well as data memory usage. Because what here unnecessarily we are not using printf and scanf. Okay, we are not including all the header files or a header file which is going to use only one at a time. Okay, so selected part since we are executing, so definitely it will be a less burden on or less utilization of a memory. Okay, so high performance. Why you can expect a high performance? Because we are giving processor a friendly. Processor friendly means processor can understand easily than understanding a C program. That means what? See, for what example is what I would like to give is some new concept we will try to explain in English. Okay, how much time person will take to understand, and same concept we will try to explain in terms of his mother tongue. Okay, so what where it will be more effective as well as less time, it's a mother tongue. In the same way, the mother tongue of processor is zeros and ones, the mother tongue of user is English. I mean, English, he is comfortable. So we cannot, definitely we cannot give zeros and ones. If we, instead of giving in a high level language, if we try to give in the assembly level language, processor will also feel less burden. Okay, because it also know its duty is reduced. That's why we can expect performance getting more, because understanding time will be less. So it will understand very fast and it will act according to that in the shortest time. If understanding itself will take a more time, then definitely the execution will be more of a time. Okay, low level hardware access. Why you mean, what you mean by low level hardware access is, so whenever, since processor is, what are the instructions we will give? Definitely they should execute only in a processor. There is no other way to execute or no other component to execute any instruction. So those processor will come to know that which hardware it should use and to get a data. Say for example, let me use one point here. If I want to write, here is a point. Okay, sorry. So if I want to execute, sorry, okay. If I want to execute one scanf, okay. So what with what hardware it is related to? I hope you can easily say it is related to keyboard. Correct? If I say it's a printf function, you can easily say the instruction or the function is related to output device called as monitor. So like this, some specific functions directly relates to some of the hardware. So we can see there is no ambiguity, or there won't be any confusion for processor which device to access or which hardware of a computer to access. It will be very fast, and we can expect less time consumption for execution. Hence, the efficiency will be more. Code reserve. So what do you mean by code reserve? What we can say with respect to code, sorry, it's a reverse. Code reverse means what? The assembly level language, what we can do is we can easily convert into machine level language, as well as we can convert back into high level language. It is a both options we have. Okay. So assembly to high level language or assembly to machine level language. If we convert machine directly to high level language, it is difficult for us. If we try to convert high level language to machine, it is difficult for processor. So if we have intermediate, it will be easy for reversing, from which it was we can convert into whatever the destination type. Okay, right? Okay, what are the difficulties of assembly level language? First thing is slightly complex, since these are not easy like high level language, so these are little difficult. And also one more difficulty way I will tell you. Can we in our C program we can define int a, b, c, like that. I can define a 200, a 2000, I can use a1, a2, a3, a 25,000, like that I can use. But I don't have flexibility in assembly language with respect to number of variables, because hardly I have 12 registers. Within a 12 registers only I have to use at a time. So every time I have to load a data, get a result, store the data, again take another set of data and perform the operation, store the result. Like that, it will be a little restriction with respect to number of variables. Okay, development time will be high, because see the restriction of resource itself is there. So I have to think within a restricted limits or restricted resources. I have to develop a complex program. So that means it will take a time. And if the person is very intelligent, then he will understand easily and he develop easily. If another person is little slow, so he will take more time to understand the code. Okay, then modification he will take a more time. Definitely it will be a if the programmer is very intelligent, definitely we can expect fast output. Otherwise it will be a slow. It is not simple like a high level language. So that is a one disadvantage. Non portable. So that means what here, if I write a program on ARM7 or the LPC 2148, I cannot execute it on some other family called ARM Cortex or any of the Intel or 8086. These are non-portable. But if I write one C program and execute it on an ARM, I can execute same C program on Intel, any of the processor, then 8086 also I can execute. So that is what the portability point. Okay, next. So we can develop this embedded firmware. That means intelligence, not only with the assembly, we can develop also with a high level language. See this point, you know already that what are the features of C language. Okay, it is a user friendly, it is a fast executing. If we remember syntax, so we can write any complex programming according to our expectation. So these all are the same points with respect to C. And it is a structured language, because first header file, next main, then variable declaration or initialization. Then if you want a data, you can collect it from user through keyboard like scanf and printf. Then calculation you can do inside main or outside a main. If you want to do inside a main, no problem. If you want to do outside a main, you have to use a subroutine or user defined function. Give the values from main to the subroutine function. Subroutine will work and give the result either directly to the user or to the main, or it will store in the memory. All these, whatever you know about a C program, that is what a high level language development. Now concept, that's why I am taking very less points. Okay, see, have we have used this like this MS Office Word pad. Okay, so in your first semester or second semester lab, you have typed in a white screen, you saved a file in Ubuntu platform, Then you have executed using GCC 1.c, 2.c, like that. No, okay, these all are the software we are using it for developing of this C program. Even for C++ also, you are using Eclipse, right? I mean, in the present semester, those are called as IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Okay, so these all are the ideas with respect to high level language. Okay, so what are the advantages of high level language? Since a user is very friendly, he will develop in very less amount of a time, because it's the language itself is user friendly. Okay, developer independency. Why it is independency? If I write one C program, and I give it to my friend, he can also understand easily compared to the assembly level language. It is not like assembly level language, not at all possible to understand by the other reader, but it will take a time. But here in a C program, just by looking, he can say, okay, what that part of a program is going to do. Portability, as I told. So portability, if you write a C program in ARM processor, you can execute the same C program in Intel i3 8086 or a different family processor also you can execute. That's why high level language are more popular whenever we are developing a firmware. Especially C++ is used. Okay, if you are good in a C++, you can go to the job field where you are developing firmware. So if I'm correct, so some of the companies like Huawei, Siemens, and Texas Instruments, these all companies will be paying more for the engineers who can develop a firmware rather than a simple softwares. Okay, so now comes what are the limitations? First limitation is what? It is if I write a program in high level language, definitely processor burden increases. If I make processor more burden efficient, the time of execution becomes less. So to avoid that, I should go for a high configuration processor. See, how to understand this is, compare bicycle with the bike. So what is your target? To travel 20 kilometer. Okay, to travel 20 kilometer. So traveling 20 kilometer in bicycle, definitely it takes a more time. So here you took little burden. Not only the bicycle, you also took little burden. I mean, the work you also did. You have done cycling, so you reached the 20 kilometer through cycle. So you are not ready to take any of work. So what option you have? You cannot go with the same bicycle. Definitely, I have to go with something which has more best features than the bicycle. So what is that? Bike. Okay, what happens that time? Bike. So if bike is little comfortable compared to the bicycle, so I have gone with high configuration vehicle compared to the bicycle. Bike is a high configuration. It has a fuel, automatic acceleration, etc. Okay, so what happens? User feels comfort compared to the bicycle, so he will travel 20 kilometer in lesser time compared to the bicycle. Okay, so again what he will do, he will compare that bike with car. So what happens? That car has more luxury, like safety also, security also, music, etc. He can, I mean, facilities are there. So now again, burden is shifted to the hardware side. So who is driver feeling more comfort? So that's what the meaning of high level language. If you go assembly level language, sorry, machine level language, completely it's like a bicycle. How much you write, that much you will achieve. Okay, whereas in bike, it's like a assembly level language. You are compromising with little luxury and little work. Where what about car? It's like a high level language where you feel you are the priority than anything else. So you should reach the vehicle, sorry, destination on time with safety. Okay, these all things here user important. That's why he chose high level language. Okay, and the cost of development is very less using a high level language, because all hardware we will get easily, library files are there, we will develop. That's why nowadays embedded systems are developing using assembly level language as well as high level language. Now comes what are the steps whenever we execute a high level language? Very simple way, you know this already. So you write a C program, then you will compile it. compile it, gcc1.c, gcc2.c. So that will create one object file. So what we have used earlier when we executed ASM file, we have used assembler. Please remember that we use assembler. To execute high level language, we use compiler. So compiler will give us errors. After successful removal of all the errors, we will get an object file. So if I am using only one file, one C program, one object file, some of the header files I am using, both are linked and given it to the link and loader. Okay, then absolute object file will create. From there, object to the hex file will be converted. If I want to use two files at a time, so definitely I need to compile both. So both compilation will give us two separate object files. So both may use separate header files, both may use common header files. Means header file means library files. Some one part may use library file, another program may not use library file. But if they are using library files, so for a particular object file, particular library file is linked and both are loaded. Okay, if both object files are taking help of library, then both object files are linked with their corresponding library files and finally loaded. Okay, if both are anyone is using, then yeah, which object file is using a library file, that is linked and loaded. If both are not using, so no library file is linked with the object file, only object files are loaded and supplied for the further absolute file creation, from there to the hex file creation. Okay, can we merge or mix the high level language with the assembly level language? Yes, it is possible. How? C with the assembly level language. Inside C program, we can write some of the code. So what will be the architecture? Let me draw here like this. See, what is a C program syntax? It starts from the main, ends like this. Somewhere here, what I have here like int, small letter A, small letter B, okay, capital letter M, something like this I'll write. So here I will write some printf value, some scanf value. Suddenly I want to use this capital letter M in terms of assembly. So what I will do, move M comma hash 13. This line is there in your next explanation. That's why I'm using this hash 13. So before and after this, I have to mention something. That is what hash pragma ASM, PRAGMA space ASM. So again, this hash pragma end ASM, end ASM. What happened here? So generally this program executes as if it is a C program, but when a selected line will come or a block of instructions will come, it acts as assembly level language. Okay, so once that block of a program completes, again it executes as a high level language. This is called as mixing of high level language with assembly level language. I hope you understood now. Okay, so we can do based upon our requirement. Okay, so why it is important? Sometimes we don't want to lose data whatever is present in the register, some register. Okay, so I want to use the same data, hence in that situation it is good to use. Okay, so sometimes what happens, writing code in assembly makes difficult, correct? Writing code in assembly level language make difficult, so use one or two C lines and execute. Once it is executed, then again execute your program in the normal mode. Normal mode means in the assembly method. Okay, see now, write a simple C function, write a simple C function and pass its parameters, which return the value wherever we want to use this type of subroutine. So this is called a subroutine. So in which part I want to call a assembly level language, at the beginning I should write pragma source. Source means here ASM. write C assembly level lines, and at the end I should write hash pragma end, hash pragma end. So these are the steps. Whenever we execute, so how it works, whenever we execute this first of these lines, these are executed by C compiler. So as soon as I got a hash pragma space ASM, that indicates the next line should execute or compile by ASM compiler. ASM compiler called as assembler. So this part compiler will check, this part assembler will check. Once this part is over, how it will come to know end of assembler? When it reads hash pragma end ASM. This keyword end will tell completion work of a assembler. Again, it will call back what? Compiler of a C program. So these are the, so there is one example given. You can see now hash pragma source. Now instead of ASM, we have a source, because you can see here, let me show you, both are same. Here you can see the file can be either .asm or .src. That's why the author has explained using either .asm or .src. I am using .asm because we have used the same program in our lab program. That's why I am using .asm. So .asm. So write the function, write all the function, and you mention where it should end, where it should end. Okay, now you can see here, see assembly lines are started writing. Okay, so see, you can see here source line hash 4, source line hash 4. So return the argument, return the values like this. Okay, what happened here in this assembly, some part of a C program is added. What's that C program? See here, test code is a C program part. Okay, test code, where we can see the test code here. Okay, okay, right. Okay, here you can see. So the test code function is called and it is going to be executed. Okay, you are not going to get question to write this. It's a concept. We can use assembler, sorry, assembly level instructions inside a C, and inside assembly level program, we can also try to use C. Okay, so that's what. So can we have, if we are not able, if we don't want to use set of instructions, can we have only one line in our program of a C which executing like assembly? So outer body is C program, only one line is assembly. Is it possible? Yes. How it is possible? Start writing in a C program a particular line which you want to write in assembly. Write it in assembly level language only. Just before that mention hash pragma ASM. After that line you mention hash pragma end ASM, end ASM. So that only this line will work as according to the this one assembly. Even though the main program is of C type, this line only is assembly. That is called as inline assembly. For one line assembly, rest all are C program. That's a high level program. So we got last point of our the fourth module, compiler versus cross compiler. See the now compiler means GCC is a compiler. GCC is a compiler. Okay, so that means what? It is developed for executing a program or checking a checking a mistakes of a program or errors in a program for restricted language on restricted platform. Okay, I hope if you try to execute what is that I'm okay, I'm not remembering that keyword, but I have used, okay, that software or a compiler. Okay, so okay, I can explain like this. MS Word, where I can type a letter. I hope this is MS Word. I think you can see here. See this MS, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PPT. So these all what we are using, they are compatible only with the Windows operating system. Okay, if I do some mistake, you can see here some mistake in this spelling. Okay, it will work and it will show only when it is using in the Windows. The same software MS Word, MS PPT on Ubuntu is not possible. So there it will not work because they are developed with respect to a particular type of a OS. So such a things are called as compiler. Okay, what do you mean by cross compiler? Cross compiler, first example I would like to give is Google Chrome. Okay, or Firefox browser. So can we execute this one Firefox browser on Windows computer as well as on Ubuntu computer? Yes, it is possible. Okay, so we can you connect it connect such a device. I mean, we can connect a device to the internet in any of the platform. So cross compiler means what? Even after changing its base environment like a OS plus hardware configuration, still it works. That is called as cross compiler. Compiler means it is restricted with some kind of environment. Okay, and like a MS Word, it is restricted only on Windows. So if you go for your Ubuntu, again we will have LibreOffice. I hope you remember if you are using this LIBRE, LibreOffice. Like this, they have developed on their own part. So cross compiler works on all type of environment. Compiler works on specific environment with specific part of a program. Okay, so that finishes our module 4. Okay, so by today evening, okay, right, embedded firmware applications is a one keyword. Okay, so simple way, today what we call little smart, those all are the applications. First application we can say is this one, mobile, because mobile is an embedded system. In that we have an embedded OS called Android. Okay, ATM is a second example which has a little smartness. Nowadays some of the robots, okay, robots, they do some activities on their own, so decisions also on their own. So those are also called as embedded firmware applications. Okay, so that finishes our fourth module. Okay, so tomorrow if possible I will engage a class. Otherwise, if any of the staff request for extra class, I may give the my session.